What's up, AfterBuzzers? We've got alliances, karaoke, and castmates booking their own darn flights right after this.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Tiffany Toney, and tonight we are talking about The Amazing Race. It is season 31, and this is episode 3. Here, Fishy, Fishy, Fishy. Hopefully, you guys all watched the show, which is why you are watching this show. So I just want to dive right in. I thought this show went by a lot faster than the other episodes. Maybe it was just me. Maybe because they didn't have a lot of explaining to do since we were already in there. So we started with 9 teams going into this episode. The cast was in Vietnam, which a few of the castmates had been to before. A few of the castmates who were on the earlier seasons of The Amazing Race had been to Vietnam before. So I feel like they had a little bit of an advantage because they kind of knew what to expect in terms of the weather, the language, and the traffic, which was absolutely crazy. I know you guys saw their taxi cab kind of like Tokyo drift onto the ramp. I don't even know how they made it out alive, but we're glad they did. So let's start with these challenges. So they had to travel to, it was a house of medicine to find their first clue. And it was interesting to me to see how aggressive they were running through the airport. You know, the first 2 episodes, they were kind of waiting around and, you know, hoping that they would catch a taxi. But this time, everybody was a little bit more aggressive. And I think that the exhaustion is starting to kick in and they are starting to realize the impact and to really feel the taste of that $1 million or the taste of not getting the $1 million. So let's talk about these challenges a little bit more in detail, and I would love to hear what you guys think. So the cast had to choose between catching their own food and doing a choreographed dance in a light suit. So for me, I don't know which one of these I would have chosen, honestly, because I'm a terrible dancer. Okay, I know I look like I can dance, but I can't. And catching their own food, that just, you guys, I don't know if there are any vegans and vegetarians out there who relate to this, but after I saw those prawns, it completely ruined seafood for me. I don't think that I could ever do that. It was disgusting. But but they did it nonetheless. Let's see. I want to know who you guys looked forward to seeing in this dance competition the most. For me, it was definitely Tyler and Corey. I was hoping that I would get a chance to see them dance. Unfortunately for me, they chose to go fishing. So, hey, but what can I do, right? I'm not in control. There's nothing I can do. So after seeing those live prawns, again, the seafood was completely ruined for me. I will probably never eat seafood again. Now, let's see, who did we have? Oh, we also had the karaoke in Vietnamese. Now, I thought this was going to be pretty easy, but some of the teams actually really did struggle with this, despite the fact that the words were on the screen. I do have a surprise segment for you guys later on in which you will see how difficult it really is to pronounce these words in Vietnamese, even when you're reading them on the screen. It's pretty difficult. I tried it all night after the episode. So let's dig right in to our discussion about the cast. Now, surprise, surprise, Becca and Floyd came in first place this time. I was really shocked, but I was also really excited and proud of them because I really like the dynamic of their team. I think they work really well together. And for those of you that are super fans of the show, I'm sure that you remember the last time that Floyd was in Vietnam. He passed out, you guys. He suffered from heat stroke and passed out during the speed bump. So he did much better this time, needless to say. He tore down some karaoke, and they did such an amazing job dancing. I thought it was really fun to watch. Becca and Floyd have such positive energy and a really great team dynamic and vibe. And I think they're going to go pretty far in this competition. And they have the potential to win, if you ask me. So let's talk about their efforts to make amends with Tyler and Corey in the beginning of the episode. I want to know what you guys thought about that. And did you think it was genuine or was it all strategy? Or maybe it was a little bit of both. I would love to hear your feedback on that. Don't worry, you guys. I see you popping up in the chat, and I'm so excited to have you guys back. And I'm definitely going to address some of these comments because you guys always find a way to entertain me. So I will definitely address your comments as we go along. Now, we had in second place, we had Nicole and Victor. They had a pretty smooth trip this episode, I thought. You know, they didn't have any really major hiccups. They definitely nailed the dance moves, which I thought was really cute. We had Colin and Christy. You guys, I did not think that Colin was gonna make it this far without like flipping out or having a nervous breakdown. He has totally done a 180 in terms of his attitude and his composure. And I think that this is playing a major role in how far and how well they're doing so far in the competition. And I think that it's going to take them pretty far in the race. If he can just keep his cool a little bit longer, do you guys think it will last? I don't know. We'll see. He's doing all right. So the meditation must be helping. If anybody out there is struggling with anger management, you might want to hit up Colin and Christy and see what meditations they are using, because he is a completely different person this time than he was the first time I saw him on the show. Fourth place, we had Tyler and Corey, my favorite duo. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, they scared me in the beginning because they did kind of get a slow start. But when they went fishing, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go, because other teams were catching up to them, and I just wasn't sure if they were gonna make it through that part of the competition. But they did. As I mentioned before, I was really disappointed that I did not get the chance to see them dance, because I think they would have nailed it. I think they probably would have added in a couple of their own moves and had to do it like 2 or 3 times. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about Corinne and Eliza. Is it Eliza? Eliza? I can never pronounce her name, you guys. Help me out. Anyway, they came in 5th place. They are my least favorite team. I know I say this every week, and you guys probably think I'm just a big hater, but it's just something about them that just doesn't sit right with me. I just feel like they're very catty and negative, and I don't know. They lucked out and came in 5th place. I do have to give them some credit, because they did do a really good job this time. They kept their composure and they kept moving despite the minor hiccups. I want to know if it's just me, or were they being extremely dramatic about the prawns? I mean, come on. She got bit on the finger, yes, but the fact that they had to zoom in 10 times to get that little prick on her finger that was smaller than the prick that you get at the doctor when they're checking for diabetes. Okay, she was being so dramatic. I just didn't think it was that serious. But then again, I wasn't there. I wasn't holding the prawns in my hand. I would love to hear what you guys thought about that. You know what? If they keep going at the rate that they were going today, I think they have a good chance to last a couple more episodes, despite the fact that I don't want to see them back. I have to give credit where credit is due. Number 6, we had Janelle and Brittany. Janelle pulled a Rupert. They were lost for what, like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and couldn't find where they were going. I was so nervous because I really like this team. I love Janelle. I loved watching her in Big Brother, and I love watching her on The Amazing Race. Unfortunately, she's not as entertaining on The Amazing Race as she was on Big Brother. But again, 2 completely different shows with totally different structure, so I can't hate on her for that. I was pretty nervous. I didn't think that they were going to recover from being lost for so long, but they did, and somehow I knew that baby girl Janelle was going to be able to dance. I just knew. I don't know how anyone else felt about it, but I just knew that she was going to hold it down. In 7th place, we had Rachel and Alyssa. And I want to know what you guys think about their peace offering. Was it sincere, or was it all a part of the game, like almost everything else that they do? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And did anybody else notice how pissed they were? Which one was it? Was it Rachel or Alyssa that was so mad about being called a 35-year-old woman? Oh my God, you guys, I couldn't help but laugh. I thought it was hilarious. She literally sat on the ground and was like, I am not 35. Well, I mean, I take pretty good care of myself, so if somebody called me 35, I wouldn't be too upset. But hey, again, who am I to judge? Now, this is the biggest surprise of the day for me, that Leo and Jamal came in 8th place, you guys. They went from being first in the first 2 episodes to being nearly last in this episode. The Afghanimals were not Afghanimals last night. Let's see. They were really, 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 really out of their element, I felt like. The dancing, you could just tell they were super uncomfortable. They got lost. They were arguing. I mean, from the time that they were waiting for taxis, you could tell that they just were not themselves. They were a little on edge. I think personally that the fatigue was starting to set in. Maybe they were a little dehydrated. I don't know what they did the night before, but they were not themselves. And they are one of my favorite teams, but they definitely let me down. I was so nervous that they were going to end up in last place, which if they had ended up in last place on this episode, they would have only received a slap on the wrist with a speed bump. I was shocked to see that even though Chris and Brett, who made absolutely no noise this episode, ended up in last place, but they didn't get eliminated. And I would love to know what you guys thought about that. Were you surprised, or did you see that coming? I definitely did not see it coming. I was totally caught off guard by that. Now, if you guys were paying attention the way that I was, I noticed how quickly they realized, and I'm talking about Chris and Brett, okay? How quickly they realized that the dancing was not for them. Some of the other teams went 6 and 7 times and kept going and got into arguments and got stressed out. Chris and Brett realized very quickly that they were not handed down that gene to be able to do that, and I thought it was hilarious. Before the music even started, they were like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And for a second, I thought it was me. I was like, was I saying that? Because that's the same way that I feel about dancing, so I totally relate to what they were going through and how much anxiety they felt about it. I mean, the Macarena is all I got as far as dance moves, so I totally related to them on that, and I respected them for being honest with themselves and heading right over to go fishing. And mind you, they actually did a pretty decent job fishing. I think if they had started out there instead of trying the dancing, then they would have been a lot further ahead in the race. I definitely think that they, along with a few other teams, underestimated how difficult the dancing would be, whereas the fishing was mostly a game of patience. They were just sitting and waiting, and there was no real strategy as far as that was concerned. So before we move forward, I have a nice little gift for you guys. No, it is not a gift card, but it is a gift that I enjoy giving, and it is the gift of appreciation. We just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in every week. You guys continue to support all of this, and you continue to watch the show, and we love you guys so much. If you are watching on YouTube, all you have to do is just hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and if you're watching on iTunes, we just want you to give us 5 stars. That's it. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 stars, you guys. We appreciate being able to do this show every week, and we definitely couldn't do it without your support. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to me, and I'm just really thankful that you guys continue to support us, and the live chat is always popping. I know it's only been 3 episodes, but I appreciate you guys so much for being in the live chat. You guys really make my night sometimes, and I feel like I have friends. I work all the time, so I don't really have many, but you guys are my friends now. So please, now that I'm your friend, I want you to go and tell all of your other friends about the show so that we can all be in the live chat together. I would love that. It'd be really nice to meet some of your other friends. So I want to know what you guys think about the challenges, and if you thought they were difficult, or did they just seem difficult because the castmates were tired? That's food for thought, right? All right, so I am going to tap into our live chat. Eric, where are you at? I figured you'd be here. Eric Olin, welcome back. You were here last week. And let's see, Cassidy Love 78. She said, forget a 180. Chris did a 360. You know what, Cassidy? You're absolutely right. He might have done 2 360s, a 360 and then 180 times 12. I don't know. But he's a completely different person. It's unreal. And I'm wondering if it was just the meditation that he used to get to this elevated frequency, or is he receiving some sort of therapy or hypnosis that we don't know about? I don't know. But whatever it is, I think I want some of it. Let's see. She says, thank you for helping me out again, Cassidy. It was Rachel that was mad. And she said, but one thing about them in any game show they do is strategy. They do genuinely feel bad after, but they are in it to win it. And I couldn't agree with you more. And I think in a game like this, I mean, what choice do you really have? You have to keep the $1 million in mind. You can make friends after the show is over, but during the show, you got to be about your bag, right? So let's see. Cindy Wigglesworth. Why don't I have any guests? Aw, Cindy. Dang it. You know what? We are going to have some guests coming up in the future episodes, so don't worry about that. We will definitely have some for you. Let's see. We've got a couple more people that I want to address because you guys have been so supportive and so great. And let's see. She said, I feel that this one flew past. Cassidy, definitely, I agree with you. This episode went by so quickly compared to the other ones. The pacing was a lot quicker, and I thought they were going to have another challenge at the end, but I guess that, they felt like they'd had enough, and I could definitely tell that the castmates were getting tired and feeling fatigued, so I think that the number of challenges they had for this one was definitely appropriate. So, I would like to introduce a special segment that we have for you guys, and it is called Feeling Foreign. Now, in this segment, we are actually going to, every week we're going to do this, by the way, and we are going to, whatever country our castmates go to, we are going to talk about, so for example, they're in Vietnam right now, right? So we're going to translate some words and phrases in Vietnamese, okay? So the first one that we have is, of course, I had to do this first, Amazing Race. Now, I'm going to play it from my phone so you guys can hear how it's supposed to sound, and we're all going to try to say it together. So I want you guys to get your vocal cords ready. You're not just sitting, you're now participating, okay? So, Amazing Race, this is how it's pronounced. Uh-oh. Đường đốt điện phai. I'm going to try it again. Đường đốt điện phai. You guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I practiced that for like 10 minutes before I came on the air. Đường đốt điện phai. Okay, so just in case you guys were wondering how to say Amazing Race in Vietnamese, now you know, and you can tell your friends and you can share it with your friends. So the next word that we are going to translate is winner. And I picked that word, of course, because it's on theme, so why not? So I'm going to try to pronounce it, or actually, you know what? I'm going to play it out loud first so you guys can hear how it's supposed to sound, okay? Người chiến thắng. Đang chiến thắng. I'm going to try it again. Người chiến thắng. Đang chiến thắng. Đang chiến thắng. Đang chiến thắng. Okay. So, Đang chiến thắng is how you say winner. Is anybody else wondering why I'm saying one word in English and there's like 6 in Vietnamese? I don't know. All right, so the last word that we are going to do is fishing. And of course, I don't have to explain to you guys why I chose fishing. I'm going to play it out loud on my phone so you guys can hear it. Đánh bắt cá. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Đánh bắt cá. Đánh bắt cá. Đánh bắt cá. Do you want to go đánh bắt cá? Okay. So, because you guys are being so active in the live chat, I want to know what word you want to translate, okay? I would like to know. I would like to translate a word that you guys have chosen so that you guys can feel like you're a part of this special segment a little more. Oh, Cassidy, you're cracking me up in here. I forgot to mention that Janelle crashed a wedding. Definitely did not see that coming, but I thought it was really funny. It was one of my favorite parts, actually. And then she says, oh, Cassidy, you have been bitten by a prawn? What kind of life do you lead, girl? I need to hang out with you. You have, like, hit all of my bucket list items. She says, Cassidy Love 78 says they were not being too dramatic. I have been bit by a prawn, and it hurts. You're going to have to DM me or something and tell me exactly how this happened and what you were doing and how did you even end up in that situation? I definitely need to know. Okay, so I think, oh, you guys don't have any words that you want to submit for me to try to translate in Vietnamese? I'm shocked. Well, I guess that's it for our special segment. Now, we're going to move on and talk about some news and gossip for you guys. So,
AfterBuzz TV News.
That's my favorite part. I love that. I'm going to download that so I can listen to it in my free time. So our news for the day, you guys, is that our host, Phil Kogan, he's been hosting the show for what? 30 seasons, 31 seasons, okay? He's traveled around the world 30 times, and usually he gives us his predictions for who he thinks is either going to win or who he thinks is going to be the top two teams at the end of The Amazing Race. But for some reason, this season, in season 31, he has decided not to give us his predictions. But that's okay, because I feel like this season has been more dynamic and more interesting than any other season. So we can give our own predictions and we can entertain ourselves. I guess we don't necessarily need Phil's feedback, but it would be nice. I'm hoping he changes his mind in a couple of weeks and surprises us with his predictions, but I don't think it's going to happen. All right, so my predictions for the next...
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
My predictions for the next episode are, drumroll please, I think that Janelle and Britt are going to make it pretty far, you guys. After their performance today, after coming back from being lost for hours and sticking with it and how they were focused and worked together and pushed through that minor hiccup, I think they're going to do pretty well, okay? Of course, I love Tyler and Corey, but I have to be honest, sometimes I feel like they kind of just slip through the cracks, so I don't know how far that's going to get them in the game. Let's see. Leo and Jamal are extremely talented, extremely cultured, and they're quick to pick up on languages, and I think that most of the time they work well together. But they don't necessarily work well when they are coming from behind. So I think if the other teams can just stay ahead of them, even if it's just a few feet ahead of them, they can kind of get in their heads a little bit and they'll have an advantage. Again, I know I said that the Afghanimals were one of my favorite teams, and I stick by that. But after today, I started to see a little bit of vulnerability. I started to see their weaknesses, and I think that they do have some weaknesses that other teams can capitalize on. As far as who I think is going to win, you know, I feel like it's still too early for me to say, but I definitely think that Becca and Floyd have a really good shot. Not only because they work so well together, but because Floyd does have so much experience, you know, on The Amazing Race. And I just think that if they can stick together and they can stay focused and they can keep up the pace that they have, I think they have a really, really, really good shot at being the winners of The Amazing Race. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, especially those of you that took the time to participate in the live chat. I know there are a million and one other things that you could be doing, so we really appreciate you. I am your host, Tiffany Tony, and you can find me on all social media, on Instagram, Twitter, at Tiffany, Tiffany _ Tony, spelled TONEY _. That's Tiffany _ Tony _. Feel free to reach out. Feel free to leave me a message, DM, comment, subscribe, like, follow, and tell your friends. This has been another episode of the After Show for Amazing Race Season 31, and we will see you next week. See you later, AfterBuzzers.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.